All right, guys and gals, it's about that time of day again here, boys and girls. Newsletter time. JJ here. School Trade, Sideways Markets, coming back to you Monday evening for your nightly newsletter for November 3rd, 2014. See ya to the month of October. Welcome in one of my favorite months of the year, the month of November. We got some Veterans Day holidays. We got, of course, Thanksgiving later on this month. And another month of the fall trading season begins. The months of October, November, and December are historically very volatile. They're very profitable. And, well, if you ask my opinion, these are the best 3 months of the year to be trading. Before we jump into our newsletter here for tonight, and we got a bunch of good stuff to talk about today, tomorrow we got a lot of great stuff to look at here. Russell up near the highs, gold consolidating near the lows, crude way oversold right now, but still very bearish. I could go on for hours here, but before we jump into charts, please remember, guys, make sure you're watching this video over on our blog right now. Make sure you're watching this video at sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're watching this on our YouTube page right now, there's a link below the video. Take you back over to our blog right now. 3 important reasons why I want you guys over here at Sideways Markets today. First reason, right below the video tonight, you can download all of the charts. That's right. All the charts I've worked so hard this evening to put together for you, you don't even remember yet. You can download them all by clicking that link right below tonight's video. Second thing here, free pass. Now I get this question all the time. What does it feel like to be in our trade room? What does it mean to be a member here at School Trade? If you are not a member of School Trade and you would like to see what we are all about in our live trade room, I got a free pass for you up in the upper left-hand corner. Grab a copy of that free pass. Third thing, that's right, I said there were 3 important reasons today. Find my ugly mug. Look right above that, and you'll see a spot for your name and your email address to join our nightly newsletter mailing list. We will send you an email every evening, let you guys know when that newsletter is published on our blog. That's right, no more waiting around for the video to post, no more checking back here to our YouTube page. I'm going to give you a heads up as soon as we have that newsletter published. So, 3 important things here today. First of all, download all those charts for tomorrow or for later on tonight if you're in Asia or in Australia. Right below the video. Second thing here, grab your free pass, upper left-hand corner. And third, don't forget to join our nightly newsletter mailing list. If you join the mailing list or if you grab your free pass, don't forget, I'm going to send you a verification email to make sure that you are not a robot. So make sure you check your email and verify that you are who you say you are. All right? Ready to rock and roll? Boy, all limbered up here, right? Stretch, get the helmet on. All right, make sure we hydrate. Let's get this party going. What happened today? What happened today? Well, besides the fact that all the people in the U.S. were kind of stumbling back to their desks today, right after daylight savings time came to an unfortunate end over the weekend. Yeah, that's right. We played catch up to the Euros, right, last week or 2 weeks ago, right? The Europeans, they moved, they fell back an hour, right? We did it this weekend. And, of course, Halloween on Friday. We had a bit of a busy weekend, right? Between the Halloween kind of holiday here in the U.S., daylight savings time comes to an end. Tomorrow is Super Tuesday. We got some elections happening statewide, locally, right, in everyone's little cities around the country. So busy time of the year, and now we go right into the beginning of the month right now. So we knew this morning was going to be a little bit of a slow start. It's a Monday, so we're expecting that bit of a slow start this morning. And then throw in the fact that it was the beginning of a new month. I really personally think that daylight savings time shift is a 36-hour just, you know, it's a real tough thing to get over, right? It's like getting over jet lag. You got to kind of let your body just react to it. So we were joking around today by saying that everything would probably happen about an hour later than normal today. And I promise I wasn't serious about that, but that felt like how the whole day went today. Took a little bit of a slow start to begin, but boy, once the day got off though, once we got running, everything started moving pretty well. Late morning into the early afternoon here in the U.S. session, just some great trading opportunities. I know you guys in our trade room were making a killing today here, selling crude, buying Russell, and, well, we'll take a look at the rest. Let's start here with our Russell here this evening, right? The mighty mini Russell, symbol TF. What are we seeing here on this Russell? Well, first of all, we're going all the way back to those new highs, all the way back here to those all-time highs again, almost there. And remember, the Russell has been one of the only E-minis, the only stock index futures that have not been back to those all-time highs again, right? NQ, Dow, S&P, they're all flirting with those all-time highs again, unless you're, of course, the NASDAQ, and you've already blown through those all-time highs. But we know that this Russell has been the lagger. It's because the Russell, of course, are the small cap stocks. So we can see we're trying to get up to that all-time high again, 1206, right? Might not happen here this week. We'll see, because you can see in the long-term chart, if you draw those trend lines off those highs, right, you can see we are right up at the highs here of that range, right? So we go over, we look at this chart, and we see, okay, we got some resistance here, right? We got some significant resistance. We've got the sell zone at 87, right, down to 70.2. We're right around 70 area right now on this Russell. So if I'm a long-term buyer, this is not the place to be right now buying. This is not the place to be buying right now. We jump up, we've overshot this little short-term channel, as you can see, and what's typically going to happen is when we overshoot these little narrow channels, you're going to get a bit of a backlash to that, right? So right now, long-term buyers, stay patient on the mini Russell. Short-term buyers, you also have to stay patient, but I'm telling you, there's some good opportunities here to be a seller right now, and I know I said that last week, and it's kept on bucking those highs last week as well. So we're continuing to watch as they keep grinding higher. Sometimes we have these markets that just will not come off the highs like this Russell, and we have to simply wait, right? Think of it this way. If you're a buyer, where are you going to buy? You're going to buy on a pullback. We're waiting on a pullback. If you're a seller, where are you going to sell? Up at the highs, up at resistance, right? Up at a premium price. So pretty much the same thing I said last week. We are ripe for the selling right now in the Russell, but we just need to get that to come off these highs. And if you're waiting to buy it right now, you're waiting just as long as the sellers are to wait right now, right? So we have to be very careful being a buyer here right now in the Russell. Now move forward here, and you'll see when we move forward here, you'll start seeing a little bit more information here on how we can start being a buyer. First of all, if we remove this little trend line up the middle here, you can see we have a long-term bull channel. And we're all the way up at the high of that bull channel. I'm going to go out and draw a trend line off these lows, and you can see that trend line coming off those lows. We got some support to wait for here. We've got a great reason to stay patient right now. But again, like I said, the last few days, the last week and a half, right, we haven't been able to get the market to pull back all the way, right? It's just simply kind of funneled around a little bit, and then bam, right back up again. So long-term buyers are having to stay patient right now on this very bullish Russell. And sellers, right, we really haven't had a chance to get much off selling these highs. Short-term sells, but we know we can see long-term here. We're in a bullish uptrend. I've got some key support here. And let's take a look at this. What's my trend? Trend is up. Where's my setup? Right? What is the setup, by the way? Well, the trend tells me direction. I want to be a buyer, right? I can cheat if I want to and use the indicator, upper left-hand corner, but I can see we got green clouds, higher highs, higher lows, above all the key moving averages. We're looking good for a buy right now. But I don't want to buy just anywhere. No, right? If you try to buy the highs every time, you might get lucky a few times, but getting lucky in the market day after day after day is really, really difficult, right? You're talking about the smartest minds in the world can't get lucky day after day after day. So we're waiting for a setup. I've got some symmetry here. I've got a reversal line here. I've got trigger zones here, right? So we got plenty of buy setups waiting for us here. 53.7. I have symmetry. Literally, we got 3 different setups lining up all at once here right now. I've got symmetry setup, reversal line setup, trigger zone setup. It's all lined up right at that 53.7. First step here was trend. I want to be a buyer. Second step here, setup. I'm waiting for that 53.7 area. What was the third step again, Joe? Didn't you say about 3 steps? The entry trigger. Where's the entry trigger? Well, for this one, we might see a 3-point reversal pattern into a wave pattern, right? Into a trap pattern, maybe a couple second entries there. So we got a lot of options for the entry trigger, but we got to get down into that area here so we can start buying it again, okay? Now, if you look closely at this now, look closer. Let's go down to a 16 here on the Russell. Look closely at this, and you're going to see this is a lot of the same stuff that we just saw, right, on the other 32 chart, right? So these levels are still the same. 53.9, 48.6, 41.1, and 36.7. Those two buy zones are identical, right? Those are the same as the prior chart. Now we've got your 58.3, right? A little bit easier to get there, right, than to go all the way back to that 53.7, right, which we found earlier on the chart. And then now we throw in another buy zone here at this 62.7, 59.5. Okay, so we're getting there. We're getting there. We just got to stay patient right now on this Russell. One thing, though, that I want to point out, if you're a student of mine right now, you might be looking at this as a narrow bullish channel that has been broken, right? So we break down the channel, we retest the highs. This is going to need to go lower for us to get the best buys here, right? Basically, what this tells me is that we have a consolidation here right now. If we go higher, sure, we can keep buying this thing on a pullback. But right now, though, I would definitely be looking for price to go lower here, find some support, and then revisit those highs again. And I get a target waiting for you up there at 1182.9. Volume checked out nicely. Higher highs in price, higher highs in volume. You know, besides just kind of the floundering around here today, back and forth, right? And again, we kind of knew why. Everything looks to be lining up nicely right now. We're just hoping we get deep enough pullback here to be able to buy this sucker here going into the rest of this week here on the Russell. How about that gold? Moving from the mighty Russell to this funny yellow metal they call gold futures. Now, this is a different chart, right? Here's our weekly chart of gold. And the reason why I brought this up today was I wanted to show you here, guys. I wanted to show you can see we are right at that low here, right? Now, remember, this is a weekly chart. So we're going back here to July of 2013. We're going back to January, right, of 2014. So here we are in November 2014. I mean, literally, this is more than a year, right, after that first test, right? Put them back on the chart now, and now you can see more of where we are. We've got key support that we are running right into right now. Key support is going to be difficult to break. This is uncharted territory in the past few years, right? We haven't been this low on gold. Well, I can see there's 2011 right there, right? So we're borderline 4 to 5 years since we've seen this. It shouldn't be surprising. I mean, we've now finished QE, right? We heard about that last week from Janet Yellen and the Fed. Right? By the way, she met with Obama today in a quote-unquote closed-door meeting. I wonder what type of gossip they were passing around behind those doors. Bottom line, though, is no wonder gold is coming lower, right? They're not printing as much money. They're the quantitative easing, all the stimulus is stopped, right? So now gold has no reason to keep pushing higher, right? And now it drops back down. So we might be back at 2010 levels here. 2011 levels were a few weeks ago. So we are making our way through. I would assume, though, there's going to be some bargain hunters here on our way down to this 1019.5. 1019.5, if you're a seller here on gold, that's where you want to be looking to keep short too. 1019.5, right? Then, of course, below that, you'll have the $1,000 even on the gold. Moving forward, though, here, on my 32 here on gold, we're clearly in a bearish trend right now. Here's my long-term anchor. This is definitely not as long-term as a weekly chart here, but you can definitely see, though, we are continuing to push lower. But if you look closer here, you can see we're starting to get a little bit of consolidation right here, right? A little bit of consolidation headed to this 1149.5 target. That target, by the way, has been on there for about 6 months now, right? That level's been there for quite some time. Now, you'll notice here, if you're a long-term seller on gold, you've got some waiting to do, right? 8.1, 35.2. I got a reversal line here at 38.9. So easy to tell, my trend is clearly bearish. But we are, as you can see, down at these lows. Now, remember how I told you to be very careful to buy the Russell highs? Well, flip it around. Now you've got to be careful selling the gold lows right now. I'm not going to make any money consistently over a long period of time selling at any lows. whether it's selling my house at the low of the market, selling a pocket full of gold coins when gold's at the lows, or selling gold futures contracts. It doesn't matter. You are foolish to sell at the lows. Sell at the highs. Sell at a premium price. Wait for price now to get up off these lows into some of these sell zones here, and then look for long-term selling opportunities. That might be tough here on gold. Right? This market personality quickly took a nosedive here once everybody figured out our newsletter was right the entire year 2014. Once everybody figured out the fact that we were not printing more money, and now that concern about violence, apparently the boy that cried wolf, there's just been too much violence around the world. Everyone appears to be numb to it. So with the strong dollar, with the bullish economy here in the U.S., the only hope for buyers on gold right now is just simply if we have some sort of breakdown here in the U.S., right? If we happen to start to really struggle in the U.S. economy, which is definitely not out of the cards right now. But for right now, though, we don't see that economic data telling us that. As you can see, here's a better look at that chart. Right? Got a strong channel down, got a strong move down here, really just a collapsing down there on gold, exactly as we had expected, right, over the past few months. This is nothing new to us. But now as we go to these lows, you can see we're starting to get a real consolidated range here. And I did my best to find some good sell zones for us, but again, we really got to be patient to get a good area to get short right now. I'm not talking about a little scalp trade short, right? This is a 32 anchor chart. I'm talking about long-term selling opportunities here up around that 1198 up to 1200. Let's find something a little bit better. Let's find something we can actually use here, Joe, for day trading. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Here is that wedge. Here is that consolidated range, right, that you kept hearing about on that gold. Now, my long-term trend, which you can see, we've got triple red over here, right? We got all red upper left-hand corner. So our indicators are screaming at us right now. Stay away from the buy side and sell at resistance levels overhead. What we're looking for sells right now on gold at 73.6 to 75. Looking for sells up here at the highs of that range. Now look out, there's 1178.1. There's another sell zone up top here, 1182.7. So we literally have three specific let's say four, right? The top of that trend line, that would also be a sell area as well, right? So I guess we'll call that four areas to get short here on gold. I'm going to sell the top of the wedge. Now, members, if you're a member of mine, you should know the specific ratio I'm going to use for a price wedge. If you don't know what I'm talking about, members, go into your intermediate section under the trade setups, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, right? If not, come see me tomorrow in the room, and I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. We have a specific ratio there we're going to use. We're not going to use just the high of that trend line. We're going to use a specific retracement area that we're looking for. So we got 1 at the top of the wedge, 2 at the top of the range, 73.6, 3 up here at the 78.1, and 4 up at 82.7. If we can get this baby going lower, where's my targets going to be here? I've got targets here at 63.4, which, by the way, if danger is your middle name, right? If you like wooden roller coasters, hot air balloon rides, right? If you're a sucker, right, for a scary movie, if you like scary, well, you can go ahead and buy these lows if you'd like, right? I think you're on the wrong side of the market long term, but you might see some good buying up to little short term buys here right now, but don't get too greedy on those buys. I'm going to use these levels to the downside as targets. So these are all going to be my targets here on the way down. 63.4, 62 even. What is that? 1160.8. I've got 57.3 and 52.8. Those are my targets, right? And of course, you could also look to be a buyer at those target areas as well. I'm staying short, though, on the gold right now. I would recommend you do the same thing. Last but not least, we go from the mighty Russell to that funny yellow metal they call gold, now over here to crude oil futures. Is that a lower low? Is that a lower low? We've been waiting on you, crude. We've been waiting for a few weeks here, crude. I thought for a second there we'd be permanently pegged between $80 and $81 a barrel. Apparently not. Finally made that lower low. Strong dollar, right, is making that crude price go lower. Warm weather. We're not expecting to get a lot of demand out of the natural resource energy futures over the winter season here, which is a very big difference than what we saw this time last year. Right about this time last year, we were gearing up for, what was the name of that storm? I can't recall what it was, but that huge blizzard, right? It hit the side of the east coast of the U.S., right? I mean, just tremendous amount of cold weather this time last year. Now they're calling for real warm temperatures. So we get a global economic slowdown that's really killing, right? Besides the U.S. economy, everything else is really borderline recessionary economic data right now. So it's killing the demand for crude. Strong dollar, right? Hot, warm temperatures. This is not looking good if you're a buyer here on crude. And we talked about this last week. We have a $70 a barrel is the anticipated bottom here. Here's a weekly chart on crude. On this weekly chart, you can see we're right now at that 77.89, right? Kind of the last call if these buyers are going to try to hold on tight here. Okay, now we might get some bear traps down here, and it may jump back up temporarily. But next stop here, 74.54, and then $70 a barrel is where we may be at $70 a barrel before New Year's. We might be at $70 a barrel before New Year's. Call me crazy, but that is not impossible. This is crude we're talking about right now. So just kind of give you an idea of where we are right now. We're well oversold. I would expect to see some bargain hunters entering the market here right now, right? We would expect to see some bargain hunters entering the market, but the problem is you got to think there's value in buying these lows right now. I don't think there's a lot of buyers out there that are too anxious to buy crude. Now we look at some extensions here, right? Take out the little ABCD pattern, and I could easily see us going to 76, right? Just a hop, skip, and a jump lower here. So let's zoom in on this. Let's zoom in a little bit closer on this area right here. And let's take a look and see, because from what it looks like, we finally pushed below those lows, but we can't sell here. It's just like gold. I can't sell at the lows, so what's a trader to do? Stay patient. And this is the difference between a rookie and a professional. This is the difference between a rookie trader and a professional trader. A professional trader says, okay, new lower lows, stay patient, whereas a rookie trader will let their emotions trade for them. They'll overtrade this low. And again, you saw where we were on the weekly chart, right? So right now, crude oil pushed to new lows. We don't want to sell here. We want to stay patient for the next sell at the setup overhead. So let's stay patient. What's my trend? Trend is down. Very easy to see that. Where's my sell setup? I've got literally a dozen here for you. I've got reversal line, 79.44. I've got trigger zone, 79.53. As we go higher, there's a trend line here, right? You kind of follow that trend line down. That trend line, that will also be resistance, right? Got some resistance overhead. We got trigger zone here, 80.48. We got trigger zone, 81.85. And I don't think we're going to get there, but possible double top, right? Double top setup up around 82.88. I don't think we're going to get there tomorrow, but hey, wouldn't be the first time crude oil surprised us. So we need to stay patient right now. And looking at this chart on crude, you can see we're at the low of this bear channel. Now, if you're a member with me in our trade room, you probably hear me say this quite a bit. The hardest place to trade is at the low of a bear channel or the high of a bull channel, in my opinion. In my opinion, I'm only one trader, obviously, but in my opinion, very difficult to be trading no matter whether you're buying or selling at the low of a bear channel, okay, or at the high of a bull channel. Okay, a lot of psychology issues around there, a lot of real emotional-based trading going on, and that causes things to get a little bit difficult, right, for a professional to trade it. So we've got sell zones overhead here on crude. Be ready for that. Oh, and then these are going to be my targets. I got to talk about them here. 77.65, 76.76, and 75.59 those are going to be those targets for you on the way down. The reason why I say that right here is because when you go to this next chart, the last chart here for us, now you begin to see, right, we got those targets waiting for you off that 32 anchor chart. So use the 32 chart, but again, don't sell here. This is not the place to be selling, okay? I'll sleep much better at night knowing that I'm going to wait to sell after the price gets off these lows, right? So what's my trend? I mean, literally, I've got 3 different time frames. All of them are red right now. We are looking very bearish. I've got 79.53, 80.36, 79.44, right? We got reversal lines, 79.44, trigger zone 1, 79.53, trigger zone number 2, 80.36, and then don't forget about this triangle pattern here, right? See this little triangle here? Yeah, this little triangle here, right? So draw that trend line, and don't you be surprised if it hits that trend line and sets up for a nice trade here for you as you go lower, right? Really easy, those triangle patterns, right? So be aware, very, very challenging here to be trading at these lows. If it keeps going lower, we really need to wait for a correction, right? And sometimes it will just melt down like this, right? It'll just melt on down. We got to get a correction so we can take it back to where it came from, right? It's too risky, in my opinion, over a long period of time to do it without a great setup. So stay patient on crude right now for a sell setup. Same thing on gold. And again, on the Russell, don't forget, I think the Russell's got some work to do. The Russell needs to either go higher or go lower here for us to really get some good stuff out of this Russell. Let's finish up with some prep work for tomorrow's news. Tomorrow here. Now, we do not have to wait for tomorrow, guys. We have major news on the calendar. Look at that. That is not only 1, 2, that is 3 Red Star news events here. I've got retail sales from our good friends in Australia. I've got manufacturing in Japan. And we've got the Royal Bank of Australia, their announcement at 10:30 p.m. That is just like our FOMC announcement. Which of these are the most important? I think the most important is going to be the RBA announcement, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Why? Because remember, the economy in Australia, 2 things about the economy in Australia. One is China, right? The economy in Australia is very much a service economy to the big consuming country of China, right? They've become the world's biggest consumer now. The second thing is natural resources, energy, right? Commodities. So these are 2 very hot topics right now. They're having a big problem with the economy in all of Asia right now, okay, in addition to the rest of the world. But we will be listening into that because if they start talking about China here tonight at 10:30 p.m., we know the markets are going to be listening. Bottom line is, we don't need to worry about the news as far as what it's telling us. All we have to worry about is you're going to see some good price action tonight overnight in Asia as well as in London. Looking here again now at tomorrow, Tuesday, November 4th. Now again, tomorrow is considered Super Tuesday here in the U.S. If it was a couple of years from now, we'd be having a presidential election, right? As if we need one of those right about now. But we know that tomorrow afternoon is probably going to be a bit slow. So be aware, right? Traders are just like anybody else. They've got to get out from behind their desks. They've got to get down to the polling booths, right? Wait in line, do their thing. Okay, so they'll use that as an excuse to get the heck out of the office tomorrow afternoon. So tomorrow, Super Tuesday, I don't expect it to affect us too much in the morning, but just be aware in the afternoon it's probably going to start slowing things down, right? Traders will definitely be distracted in the afternoon, okay, just like they were at the end of the month last week. We look at news here, though. There is no shortage of great news tomorrow, right? We got construction spending at 4:30 in the morning out of Great Britain. I've got international trade at 8:30 a.m. in the U.S., right? So 4:30 a.m., 8:30 a.m. We also got news out of Canada. We've got factory orders at 10 o'clock, and then 8:45 p.m. we're going to hear from our good friends in China tomorrow night. Bottom line, though, is you've got news tonight out of Australia and Japan that will get the Asian session going. It'll most likely bleed over into the London session. You've got big-time construction news Red Star News at 4:30 a.m., so that will get the party moving tomorrow morning. And then, of course, you got 8:30 and 10 o'clock. So we should be able to get some great price action throughout the entire session, starting tonight and all the way into the lunchtime hour tomorrow morning. And again, just be aware, tomorrow afternoon, Super Tuesday elections, I would assume people are going to be out of the office tomorrow afternoon, and then they'll be right back here with us on Wednesday. Got a full day on Wednesday, and then another half day on Thursday, because Friday, what's Friday? The first Friday of the month. What happens the first Friday of every 1 month? Non-farm payrolls, right? So we get a little bit of an oddball week here, right? Get not really a half day tomorrow, but it's likely you're going to see it slow down in the afternoon tomorrow. But Thursday afternoon will definitely be a half day, right? It'll definitely be a half day for you guys there. All right? Looking good here. Major news tonight. We should have a day filled with trading opportunities tomorrow. Again, though, stay patient here. Everything is waiting on a pullback right now. Russell waits to pull back. Crude waits to retrace. Gold waits to retrace. So stay patient for those best trading opportunities tomorrow. Don't forget, guys, back on our blog here before I let you guys go, don't forget, grab your free pass, join the newsletter list, download today's charts, and of course, I want to thank you guys so much for coming out and seeing us here today on the newsletter. Don't forget, we have the best free trial on the planet. Grab a copy, grab a free trial here at theschooloftrade.com. If you need to, if you've taken a trial in the past, I'd be more than happy to reactivate that trial for you. Just give me a call here in the office, and we'll be happy to get you back on track. We have 3 levels of membership, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and we offer lifetime memberships, and I've got someone standing by here 24 hours a day to help you guys out with any questions you may have. Don't forget to download those charts. Don't forget to come out and see me tomorrow in the trade room as a student. If you're not a student yet, what are you waiting for? You've seen how well this stuff works. Now's the time to take that first step. It's the best time of the year to be a student with us. Great price action, great opportunities. And guys and gals, why don't we do this again? Same time, same place tomorrow, huh? Same bat time, same bat channel. All righty. Tomorrow morning, trade room opens up at 8 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow morning. We open up the trade room, and we'll see you guys back here 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night. Have yourselves a great Super Tuesday. Be on the lookout for those trading opportunities, and I look forward to seeing you in our trade room tomorrow morning. My name is Joseph. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.